In 2013, Aquatic Wetline made its debut as an aquarium hobbyist podcast. It was hosted by Aqua Alex Cardinale, an aquarium hobbyist with a passion for tropical fish since the age of 12.
Aquatic Wetline was very successful because Aqua Alex shared his love and passion for fish keeping like only he could. You could hear the love of fish and passion for caring and educating about the fish in his voice. It attracted new hobbyists and even experienced hobbyists to tune in.
Aquatic Wetline went on hiatus for a couple of years. Now Aqua Alex has brought it back, this time right here on YouTube. Aqua Alex will host new episodes of Aquatic Wetline Fish Keeping Podcast, but it will be in video format and you may get to see some of Aqua Alex's personal fish.
Aqua Alex will discuss everything aquarium related from fresh to salt. What aquarium topic is in the aquarium for discussion tonight? Let's find out. Fish keepers, if you enjoy the show, please share the YouTube video URL on your social media. Now here is Aqua Alex.
Hello, tropical fish keepers. Welcome to Aquatic Wetline. I'm your host, monster fish keeper and South American fish keeper, Aqua Alex Cardinale. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite fish that comes from, I have a couple of favorite fish that come from Asia, and last month I talked about one of them. Last month I talked about the clown loach. Well, today I'm going to talk about another favorite loach of mine that I have had the honor and pleasure of keeping over the years. And currently I have a couple of them in my 75-gallon aquarium. That would be the Red Tail Botia Loach. The Red Tail Botia to the clown loach in terms of size, in terms of care, in terms of hardiness. But the only difference between the Red Tail Botia Loach and the clown loach is that generally, depending on where you live, the Red Tail Botia is a lot cheaper than clown loaches. However, the Red Tail Loach is a great loach, just like clown loaches. So today, I'm going to tell you everything you should know about the Red Tail Botia Loach. Find out some interesting facts about the red, find out how to keep and care for them in the home aquarium. Now, currently, I have two Red Tail Botia Loaches that I got along my 4 clown loaches from Wet Spot Tropical Fish, and I really enjoy keeping the Red Tail Botia Loaches. My Red Tail Botia Loaches, they love to eat practically anything that will fit in its mouth. They will eat bloodworms. They will eat the Hikari micro pellets that they make for community fish. It'll eat flake foods. So I really enjoy keeping the Red Tail Botia Loaches, and I'm going to have a pleasure talking about the element of Aquatic Wetline. Now, for those of you who are wondering, I am broadcasting in front of my 125-gallon predatory display tank. And I figured I'd change it up a bit and broadcast in front of my monster tank. I tried to get a video and some photos of my Red Tail Botia Loaches today, but they would not cooperate with me at all. The Red Tail Botia Loach is definitely fish to have to try and photograph. It would not stay still for me, and I could not get a video of either of my two red tail loaches or a video of my two loaches, but that's okay. I'm going to show pictures and images of red tail botia all throughout the show. But if you're wondering, yes, that is the 125 behind me, and you'll see my large tiger Oscar, how big he's gotten. You'll see my Severums, my wide bar silver dollars, my wolffish, etc. But next will likely be in front of the community aquarium that is housing my red tail loaches. All right, so to all the people watching today's video, I appreciate your view. Do you have questions about the Red Tail Botia Loach? You want to ask me questions about the Red Tail Botia Loach? Go right ahead. Post them in the comments. Want to share your experience keeping the Red Tail Botia Loach? Post them in the comments. I always appreciate viewer feedback and viewer participation. So if you're watching this live or even you're catching a replay of the video, let me know your question. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started talking about the Red Tail Botia Loach. Here is what Aqua Alex, likes about the Red Tail Botia Loach. And I'm talking about all Red Tail Botia Loach, but also my personal Red Tail Botia Loach as well. So what I like about Red Tail Botia Loaches is their coloration. Their coloration is simple. It's a blue body and orange fins. Now, they should be called the orange tail Botia Loaches because their tails are more orange than they are red. However, it is still a pretty cool loach. Any loach that is blue and has orange color in my book is really cool. The next thing I like about Red Tail Botia Loaches is their personality. They are a very outgoing loach. Now, they are a bit more shy compared to clown loaches. My clown loaches are constantly active. They're constantly out about looking for food. The only time I see my red tail botia loaches is either at nighttime or during feeding time. And I tried to feed them today to get them to come out so I can film them, but even then they were very wary of the camera. So they are very smart and their personality shows that. I really admire the Red Tail Botia Loach's personality, just like I admire the Clown Loach's personality. I also like the size that Red Tail Botia Loaches can reach. Red Tail Loaches can get up to about 10 inches in length. So they grow pretty similar to the Clown Loach. They stay about an inch or so smaller than the Clown Loach, but they're still a decent sized loach to have in the home aquarium, and they can live in pretty much any aquarium that's large enough to house them. The loach can. Now, the Red Tail Botia Loach is also a very hardy loach. You'll never have a problem keeping a Red Tail Botia Loach as long as you have good water parameters, good water quality, you clean your filters, and you do water changes. You will not have a problem keeping Red Tail Botia Loaches. Their care is pretty much the same as a clown loach. You just got to make sure that you have a large enough tank and good water quality. Because unlike the clown loach, the Red Tail Botia Loach does not handle dirty water or poor water quality, because they will start to get ick, they'll start to scratch, and then eventually they'll perish. So make sure when you're keeping a Red Tail Botia Loach that you have perfect water. And you could do that by cleaning your filters every other month and doing water changes. But other than that, the Red Tail Botia Loach is very hardy. They're also a very affordable fish. You're not going to break the bank when you're purchasing Red Tail Botia Loaches. I got my 2 Red Tail Botia Loaches for 20 bucks, and they were already 3 to 4 inches when I got them. Now, if I was going to buy clown loaches of that size, I probably would be paying $30 to $40 a piece at that size. So for whatever reason, the Red Tail Loach is a lot more cheaper than the clown loach. And like I said, I've got my 3 to 4 inch Red Tail Botia Loach for 20 bucks, whereas a clown would probably cost about $30 or $40 at that size. So, what do you like about the Red Tail Botia Loach? Let me know in the comments below. All right, so let's talk about some facts about the Red Tail Botia Loach. Let's learn some interesting facts about the Red Tail Loach. The Red Tail Loach is a very common freshwater loach, and it is quite attractive with a very distinct body shape and coloration. The natural coloring of this loach is most attractive and quite variable. It ranges from blues to grays and sometimes tints of green with fins and a tail that could be yellow, red, or orange. As juveniles, they can have more intense green coloration, accenting as well as some dark stripes. So here is what a natural Red Tail Botia Loach looks like. This is the natural Botia Loach that you'll find in the wild. And there's going to be a specific reason why I'm showing you what a natural Botia Loach looks like. So this is the natural Red Tail Botia Loach. Very, very cool looking loach, right? And as a loach, it's got that cool whisker-like pattern on its face, much like the clown loach. And it's got very small scales that you cannot see with your eyes. And it's got that blue body and, of course, a red tail, hence the common name, the Red Tail Loach. So that is the ordinary Red Tail Loach. Let's get to our next fact about the Red Tail Loach. And this is a fact that as a fish keeper kind of haunts me. I'm really uncomfortable about talking about this type of Red Tail Loach, and it's going to bring a lot of controversial issues with it. But there are dyed varieties of red tail loaches that will be occasionally imported in the aquarium hobby, and they're often called painted botia or colored blue botia or colored red tail botia. They can be pink, green, yellow, orange, purple, or teal in coloring. This is what the painted or dyed red tail bota or blue botia looks like. Now, some people may say that's a pretty gorgeous fish, and probably would be people of the younger generation would say that. I prefer the natural looking red tail botia, as do many of the other aquarium hobbyists. However, a dyed variant does exist in the aquarium hobby, sadly. And it's sad because the dyed variants are not recommended as they are said to have health problems and they often have early deaths because of those health problems that happen when they are injected with these dyes. So other dyed fish like the dyed tetras and the dyed mollies and convicts, they too also have abnormalities and they too suffer early premature death. Now, when I talk about dyed fish, I'm not talking about the glowfish. The glowfish are natural and 100% different than dyed fish. But dyed fish is generally dying down now. thank God. But there are dyed red tail botias out there. I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. So if you can, try to stick to a natural red tail botia loach. And again, this is what a natural red tail botia loach looks like. And this is the painted or dyed red tail botia loach. So let's get to the next fact about the Red Tail Botia Loach. And that is, just like the clown loach, the Red Tail Botia Loach has a unique personality. It's a fish that can be lively, yet somewhat shy. They also can be a bit aggressive. They are more aggressive than clown loaches. If you keep them in a school, however, they make a great community fish with larger, more robust tank mates like gouramis, clown loaches, severums, and other cichlids of that sort. Now, when we're keeping red-tailed botia loaches or any botia loaches in general, it is always recommended to keep them with at least 4 of their own species, or they can get aggressive towards other fish, even while demonstrating shy behaviors. And shy behaviors is basically hiding. So it's very important to have at least 2, 3, 4, or 5 red tail botia in the aquarium that you keep them in, because they are a schooling fish. The next fact about the red tail loach is that it's a long-lived, durable, and undemanding fish. And much like the clown loach, the red tail botia loach can make audible clicking sounds. Now, if you ever hear a noise in your tank and you've got red tail botia loaches or you have clown loaches, that noise you're hearing is coming from your loach. And it is very, very cool and very distinct. I've only heard the noises a couple of times. It's a very small, faint noise, but you can definitely hear it. And it's a very cool noise when you do get to hear it. We have a very special live viewer. He is a good friend of mine. He is a very great fish keeper, and I'm glad to see him in the audience. My friend Daryl says hello. Daryl, how are you doing, sir? Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you're enjoying it. Today we're talking about the Red Tail Botia Loach. So I'm glad you're in the house, and I hope you enjoy the video. Daryl is a good friend of mine, and he's like my fish keeping mentor. He gives me advice when I need it. And a couple of weeks ago, he cleaned the canister filter in the 125 gallon, which is behind me. So I am very, very grateful to have a local fish keeping friend nearby that will help me when I need. And I enjoy going on fish storage trips with my friend Daryl. So very, very lucky and fortunate to have an amazing fish keeping friend like that not only lets me go to the fish stores with him and helps me clean my filters, but he also supports me and watches my videos. So I am forever grateful for that. And Daryl says he is doing great. That is awesome. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I hope you definitely enjoy your time in Tennessee. All right. So those are the facts on the Red Tail Botia Loach. Now we're going to talk about keeping and caring for the Red Tail Botia Loach, and I'm going to give you some information on this amazing fish. Now, I am no scientist, so I'm probably not going to pronounce the scientific name right, so that's why I'm just going to put it on the screen for you, and you'll be able to see the scientific name. Now, the scientific name has changed. The last time I kept these fish, it was simply known as Botia modesta, but now it has been classified in a new species of loach. It still is a Botia, but now it's in the same category, I believe, as the yo-yo loaches and the zebra loaches. So the scientific name for the red tail Botia is modesta, but now it starts with the Y, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. But up to 10 years ago, it was known as the Botia modesta, which a lot of older fish keepers are probably going to recognize it as that scientific name. but I guess now it's known as the first scientific name, but it's still the same fish, so I'm not going to confuse you. So that's the scientific name for the Red Tail Botia Loach. Now the Red Tail Botia Loach is one of those fish where it has 1,000 common names. But I'm going to go over the most common names you'll see at your pet store or your fish store. This is a relatively popular aquarium loach, so you're guaranteed to see them at fish stores in your area. And sometimes Petco and PetSmart will get them. Although when I've gone, I've only seen the yo-yo loach and the the coolie loach, which is a totally different species. But sometimes they do get red tail botias and clown loaches. Although the manager of the fish room in the Petco near my job, he has said that he's going to try to limit how many of the red tail botia and clown loaches he brings in, because not many people realize how large they get. But they are available to all the Petco and PetSmart's chain list and stock list. So here is their common names. The first name, Red Tail Botia, Red Tail Loach, Orange Fin Loach, Blue Botia, and Blue Loach. Those are most of the names that I found them under in my fish stores and pet stores, and I'm sure there are a plethora of other names that this loach goes by. So where does the red tail botia naturally occur, or where does the red tail botia live? Let's talk about their habitat for a second here. The red tail botia are found in northeastern India. They're found in Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, and the Malaysian Peninsula. So they're found in the same areas where you'll find the yo-yo and clown loach. So they're all over India, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Malaysia. They are found in large rivers with muddy bottoms and in flooded fields. Red tail botias are a strongly migratory species, which means they travel from one river to another depending on the time of year. The loaches in the Connie Falls of the Mekong Basin, so the botia loaches that live in the Mekong Basin, will migrate during the flooding season to spawn in tributaries and small streams, and they return when the waters recede. That's a very interesting tidbit to know about the habitat of the red tail botia. So let's talk about keeping them in the aquarium hobby. How big does the red tail botia get? Well, some websites will tell you they'll grow to be about a foot. Now, personally speaking, the largest red tail botia I have ever seen was about 9 to 10 inches. And that was a good 10 or 11 years ago in Massachusetts. And that red tail botia was about 15 years old. So that's a very old fish. Most fish don't live past 12 years. So in my experience, with that fish being 15 years old, only growing to 9 to 10 inches, I think it's safe to say the red tail botia will generally grow to about 8 to 9 inches in the aquarium hobby. Even so, that is still a heavy body fish. Just like the clown loach, as the red tail botia matures, its body becomes very wide. It becomes very, very thick, Thick. I know sometimes when I say the word thick, it sounds like sick, but it's actually thick. They become very thick and wide, at least 2 inches wide. So a 9-inch red tail botia is going to be very wide, which is why some people would consider that fish to be a foot long. So definitely it is a larger growing loach species, just like the clown loach. However, it is still a pretty cool loach. Now, this is not a solitary species. It should be kept in schools of at least 4 or at least a pair of them, if that's all you can find. Because when they're kept singly, they become aggressive, and I feel that the aggression is simply from being aggravated of being kept by itself. So the best thing to do when considering getting a red tail botia is to realize that this is a large growing fish. It's also a schooling loach, and it gets pretty big. So keep that in mind. So my recommended tank size for the Red Tail Botia Loach is going to be 90 gallons and above. Now, when they're small, like 2 inches, you can obviously grow them out in a 55-gallon and work your way up. But just make sure you're providing them at least a 4-foot aquarium, 90 gallons and above. And then as they mature, they can be kept in a 125, 150, 180, 220, etc. They are a really large growing loach, just like the clown loach. So when I say the clown loach should be kept in a 6-foot aquarium, the red tail botia can also be kept in a 6-foot aquarium. And yes, you can actually mix the red tail botia with the clown loaches. We'll address that later on in the show. But I see a comment here on Facebook asking if red tail botias can be mixed with clown loaches, and yes, they can. As a matter of fact, in my 75-gallon community aquarium in the other room, I have 2 red tail botias along with my 3 or 4 clown loaches, and they get along just fine. As a matter of fact, the red tail botia and clown loaches share the same rock. So when I went to film today, to film the video that I could not get of the red tail botia, all I was filming was the clown loaches and the yo-yo loach, so I was heavily disappointed. Like I said, the red tail botias, they're very smart. So when they see that camera come out, they'll dig themselves under the substrate and into the rocks, and I won't be able to film them. So unfortunately, in this video, I won't be able to show off my red tail loaches, but I'm going to have plenty more videos, as you guys know. All right, so we've talked about tank size for the red tail botia. Now let's talk about aquarium care. And this fish is really easy to keep, just like the clown loach. Now, is it a beginner fish? Not necessarily, because just like the clown loach and other loaches, they do need really good water quality. And if they don't have really good water quality, they're going to be prone to ick. And unlike other fish, they don't really have the scales that defends itself against ick. Most people will say that Botia loaches are scaleless fish, but that's not true. They have really, really, really small scales. So they're a small scaled fish, but their scales are literally no defense against ick, which is why it's recommended to keep your water temperature around 76 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Just in case the loach does get ick, the hot water will fight it. And that's why when clown loaches and Botia loaches in general get ick, you have to be really careful about the medications you use, because an overdosage will simply just kill your loach, and it'll be very, very sad. But we're going to talk about that in detail in just a second. So let's talk about the aquarium care for the red tail Botia loach. Under the right conditions, they are extremely hardy. The right conditions would be a fully cycled aquarium. You don't want to add these to a tank that has just been set up. So it needs to be a fully cycled aquarium. It should be heavily filtered, and it should have proper water quality. The pH should be 7.0 to 8.0. The temperature can be anywhere from 72 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and it should have good water quality. Good water quality means that we're doing water changes once or twice a week. We're keeping an eye on our ammonia levels, our nitrite and nitrate levels, and we're cleaning our filters every so often to make sure the water stays clear. That's good water quality. But since you guys, a majority of my audience is experienced fish keepers, I know that you guys already know that. So, like I said earlier, the Red Tail Botia has reduced small scales, and that makes them more prone to disease, and they're very sensitive to medications that are used to treat disease. So, experience in treating scaleless fish is very important to give your loach a healthy and long life. So, other fish that you would need to be careful in treating that are scaleless would include the mormids, which are the elephant nose, the baby whales, snails, etc. Those are other scaleless fish, and some catfish species as well, like the Corydoras. Now, you want to have subdued lighting in any tank that contains a loach, whether it be a clown or a red-tailed boa. So the blue light, like I have on the 125 behind me, would be perfect for a loach tank because it allows you to have light on the aquarium, but it also allows for your loach to feel comfortable and it'll be able to relax and unwind. I found when I turn the lights on regularly, in the regular setting, that my red-tail boatias really don't like it. They'll go into high. Have it on the blue setting like this one. They're out and about and they eat much more. For whatever reason, the clown loaches don't care what light I have on. They're more outgoing. But the red-tail botia is one that prefers the blue light or no light at all, which I don't mind at all anyway. Whatever makes my fish happy makes me happy. Now, it is recommended to have an aquarium set up that resembles its natural habitat. So that would have plants. It could be live plants or artificial plants. They're not going to care. It should have open areas to swim and places for retreat. So places for retreat basically means hiding places. That could be driftwood or caves or those aquarium decorations that they have at the pet store. Now, just like clown loaches and other loaches, the red tail botia are burrowers. They like to burrow in the substrate. So the substrate needs to be a fine gravel or sand that does not have sharp edges. Because if you have gravel that has a sharp edge and the loach tries to burrow itself in it, it's going to cut up its face and the barb between its eye is going to get seriously injured. And if that barb gets injured and it does not heal properly, it's going to cause a bacterial infection and the fish will die. So we can avoid that by making sure that we have soft substrate like a fine gravel or sand, or even a bare bottom would be fine for these fish. Just make sure that your aquarium has ample hiding places because this loach is really shy when it's new to the aquarium and it continues to stay shy for quite a while. So make sure you have rocks, caves, and roots to give it some dark areas to retreat. You could also use plastic tubes as well. The plastic tubes make safe and excellent hiding places for them to hide. And the last thing to know about their aquarium care is that just like clown loaches and other loaches in general, they need to be kept in groups. For them to feel happy and healthy, it is recommended to keep at least 3, 4, 5, or 6 of them for them to be happy. At least 2, at least a pair of them. If they're kept singly, they're going to live a really miserable life and they'll likely be very aggressive in your aquarium. All right, right now we're going to go ahead and take our short intermission. This intermission is being brought to us by our friends at the fish store Aquatic and Exotic in Stuart, Florida, which has clown loaches and red tail botia loaches. The last time I was there, they had a tank full of them. So if you're in southern Florida and you're looking for a red tail botia, check out Aquatic and Exotic in Stuart, Florida. And if you're looking for quality aquarium supplies and fish food, check out my friend Jeremy's website, Little Egypt Aquarium Club. Purchase some quality aquarium supplies and aquarium fish food. You'll save 10% by using my discount code ALEX. I'm going to continue talking about the Red Tail Botia Loach right after this intermission. And when I come back, I'll talk about feeding them, tank mates for them, and we'll see photos and videos. Aquatic Wetline continues next, right after this, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. The fun show continues.
Are you a tropical fish keeper living in South Florida? You need to check out Aquatic and Exotic in Stuart, Florida. Aquatic and Exotic is home to quality freshwater and saltwater tropical fish. You will find African cichlids, South and Central American cichlids, goldfish and koi, and exotic fish. We also supply aquarium supplies like filters and heaters, aquariums, and lights. We also have quality fish food brands. Aquatic and Exotic is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sunday 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Questions? Give us a call at 772-781-4046. Stop on by and check us out. 1525 A.C.E. Lockhart Street, Stuart, Florida 34994.
Aqua Alex here, and I'm proud to partner with Little Egypt Aquarium Club. Little Egypt Aquarium Club was founded by my friend Jeremy Stellhorn. Little Egypt Aquarium Club provides aquarium hobbyists with quality aquarium supplies. You will find sponge filters, pleco caves, and so much more. Little Egypt Aquarium Club also has quality fish foods. You'll find things like rapashi. Rapashi is a name brand fish food, perfect for placostomus, community fish, and even monster fish. You'll find medicated fish foods as well. Aqua Alex and Jeremy Stellhorn are teaming up to save you some money. If you use my discount code, which is Alex, you will get 10% off your order. So go to littleegyptaquariumclub.com right now, place an order, and use coupon code Alex, and you will save 10% on your order. Now back to the fish chat. Hey, tropical fish keepers, it's yours truly, Aqua Alex Cardinale. I am personally inviting you to be a part of the November 2022 Ask Aqua Alex Live. I will answer all of your tropical fish keeping questions, whether they are freshwater or saltwater. The November 2022 Fish Keepers Q&A is going to air on a very special day. It's going to air live on Black Friday, Friday, November 25th, 2022 at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. You may buy a new aquarium or new fish on this day because fish and pet stores probably are going to have some great deals. I look forward to answering all of your tropical fish keeping questions. Make sure to email your fish keeping questions to Alex Go Yankees Cardinale 19 at gmail.com so that I can answer them live on the air. Also, I want to see your beautiful tropical fish and your beautiful aquariums, and I want to show them off in the Fish Keepers Show Off. So email your fish photos and videos to Alex Go Yankees Cardinale 19 at gmail.com. And since this month is Thanksgiving, and we're all talking about what we're thankful for, my question for all the aquarium hobbyists is going to be, what are you thankful for in the aquarium hobby? Email me your answers to Alex Go Yankees Cardinale 19 gmail.com. The topics for this month's show will include the following: how to properly do water changes. I will talk about properly cleaning canister filters and hang on the back filters. I will discuss the best aquarium filters. I'll talk about Black Friday, tropical fish shopping, and if I've got anything this year, and much, much more. So I, Aqua Alex Cardinale, am inviting you, the tropical fish keepers, to be part of the fun on November 2022 Fish Keepers Q&A, live Friday, November 25th, 2022, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale and Aquatic Wetline. So start submitting those questions right now. All right, welcome back to Aquatic Wetline. Today, I, Aqua Alex, have had the pleasure of talking about Red Tail Botia Loaches. Let's continue talking about the Red Tail Loach now. And now I'm going to talk about feeding the Red Tail Loach. Now, loaches in general are a very fun fish to watch eat. They have very specialized mouths. The clown loach and the red tail botia loach, among many, love to eat snails. They will eat snails with their specialized mouths. Now, it can be tricky getting them to eat other foods, but I have found that loaches really love bloodworms, be it frozen bloodworms or freeze-dried bloodworms. They'll eat it and they'll go crazy for it. They will gorge on bloodworms. So yes, I do recommend feeding your red tail botia bloodworms. If you are going to feed bloodworms, there is only one brand that I recommend, and that would be Hikari. Hikari bloodworms are the best on the market, hands down. You will not find better frozen bloodworms than Hikari. And no, Hikari is not paying me to say that. That is my humble opinion as a fish keeper for over 10 years. Hikari has the best frozen bloodworms on the market. So the diet for the loach is really simple. While they may have a mouth that is fitting to eat snails, they will attempt to eat just about anything that fits in their mouth. They are omnivorous, meaning that they will eat both meat and plant matter. So, I recommend feeding a good quality flake food, a good quality small pellet that will fit in their mouth, good quality frozen food like frozen bloodworms, brine shrimp, mysis shrimp, and more. And of course, as a treat, you can put in chopped earthworms and snails for them to munch on. Now, a few weeks ago, I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, I can't get my loaches to eat anything else besides bloodworms. And he told me about two fish foods that are from Hikari. One's from Hikari and one's from Fluval. I tried those two fish foods, and my loaches go nuts for them. They absolutely love them. My yo-yo loach, my clown loaches, and my red tail botia loaches love it. So all three species of loaches, frozen bloodworms, frozen mysis shrimp, and these foods. Up first is the Hikari micro pellets. These are designed for small fish with small mouths, like live bearers, tetras, barbs, gourami, basic community fish. But loaches, even though they are a big fish, they have a small mouth. So they really appreciate the micro pellets. Bias is perfect for community fish. I do recommend these for loaches and other fish with small mouth, and definitely community fish. My boy Brutus is behind me. Say hello to Brutus. This is Brutus, my tiger Oscar. Hey Brutus, how are you, buddy? I'll feed you after the show. Don't worry about it. All right. And then I feed them fluval bug bites. Bug bites is another great fish food, not only for loaches, but for all fish in general, because insects add a lot of to a fish's diet. So that is what you can feed your loaches. Let's talk about tank mates for the Red Tail Botia Loach. Tank mates can be pretty much anything. They're not going to eat fish. They simply don't have the mouth to eat other fish. So tank mates for the Red Tail Botia can be medium-sized tetras, like the Buenos Aires tetra, black skirt tetra, Colombian tetras, rummy nose tetras, silver dollars, flagtail procholotus, leptorinus. Those are the tetras that are just examples that can live with the Red Tail Botia. Tiger barbs, rosy barbs, tinfoil barbs, good tank mates. Gouramis, the pearl gourami, the opaline gourami, even the giant gourami would be a good tank mate for the Red Tail Botia Loach. Other loaches like clown loaches and yo-yo loaches are good tank mates for the Red Tail Botia Loach. Cichlids, Severums, Waru, Oscars, Jack Dempsey's, Green Terror, chocolates, even African cichlids can be kept with the Red Tail Botia. While technically I'm not a fan of putting clown loaches or Red Tail Botia in African cichlid tanks, they have been shown in the past to be a successful combination. So I will say that red tail loaches and clown loaches can be kept in a African cichlid aquarium. Catfish, Corydoras, Pictus, Raphael, Synodontis, those are all good tank mate ideas for the red tail Botia. So pretty much you have a whole list of tank mates that can live with the red tail Botia Loach. Very, very cool fish. You're going to enjoy keeping the red tail Botia Loach in your aquarium. All right, now it's time for the best part of the show. It's time to see some photos and videos of the red tail Botia. And we're going to start with the photos of the red tail Botia. So here we go. Here is a gorgeous adult-sized red tail Botia. Very, very cool looking. Here is another red tail Botia. And as you can see, it's a very gorgeous one. Here is a group of them. Very, very nice. Another beautiful red tail Botia. And like I said, depending on where they're caught, they can look different. As you can see, this red tail Botia has a stripe on its tail, which is pretty cool. And then we've got 3 or 4 red tail Botias in what looks like a geophagus on top. Very, very cool fish. And then we've got a nice sized red tail Botia Loach here. And last but not least, our final photo, a nice swimming position for this red tail Botia Loach. Those are the images of other fish keepers' red tail Botia Loaches. Now we're going to see some videos of this amazing fish, and then we will wrap up this show. A great show tonight. So that was taken at a local fish store. Very cool red tail loach school. Here is a school of red tail loaches with some tinfoil barbs, and they look phenomenal. All right, here's our last video. See, I told you the Red Tail Botia Loach was a very, very pretty loach. A very, very nice one. All right, it's time for my final remarks and summary on keeping your Red Tail Botia Loach in the home aquarium. Aqua Alex's final remarks on Red Tail Botia Loaches. They require clean water. If you want to keep Red Tail Botia, make sure you keep your water parameters and your water quality in check. Red Tail Botias must be kept in schools. Make sure to keep them in schools of at least 3, 4, or 5. Yes, the Red Tail Botia can live with other loaches. I am proof of that. I have my Red Tail Botia living with clown loaches and a yo-yo loach. So yes, they can live with other loaches. Something I did not mention earlier in the show. The Red Tail Botia can have skinny disease. Skinny disease is a disease that haunts many Botia species, like the Red Tail Botia and the Clown Botia or the Clown Loach. Now, skinny disease is basically when a loach eats normally, but it does not put on any weight. And this is caused by a parasite. A parasite is in the loach's stomach, eating all the food and nutrients that the loach is getting. You can eradicate this with a medication. I have only had this experience once with a few clown loaches, and I used Pro and it worked. So if you ever have loaches with skinny disease, I recommend using Pro. And the last remark that I have about the Red Tail Botia is that they're very hardy, they're very personable, and they're very affordable. They're much cheaper than clown loaches, like I pointed out throughout the show. All right, fish keepers, I would like to say thank you for watching this episode of Aquatic Wetline, and I want to thank you for joining me in learning about the Red Tail Botia Loach. I had a pleasure discussing the Red Tail Botia Loach. I hope you learned a lot about the Red Tail Botia. And if you still have questions, feel free to post them in the comments and I'll make sure to answer them. Have a great rest of your weekend or a great rest of your day. And I want to thank you so much for watching this episode of Aquatic Wetline. If you've never kept Red Tail Botias, go get some for your aquarium. I guarantee you're going to love them. I'm Aqua Alex, and you've been watching Aquatic Wetline. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and share this show with your friends. Happy fish keeping. Enjoy the aquarium hobby. Thank you for watching. Happy fish keeping and take on. It's time to be thankful and time to stuff our face with turkeys. It's Thanksgiving month, and I, legendary Alex Cardinale, will host the second annual Thanksgiving Bash live Thanksgiving Day at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Join me, legendary Alex Cardinale, for the 2022 Thanksgiving Bash. Live Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, November 24th, 11 a.m., 8 a.m. Pacific. I, legendary Alex Cardinale, will talk about what I'm thankful for this Thanksgiving. I'll discuss my favorite Thanksgiving foods and memories. Plus, there will be appearances by Chef Alex Cardinale and Aqua Alex Cardinale. I'm sure Chef Alex will help answer your last minute Thanksgiving questions, plus give out good Thanksgiving cooking tips, as well as help you prepare a delicious turkey on Thanksgiving Day. What tropical fish topics will Alex bring for Thanksgiving? You'll have to tune in to find out. Plus, legendary Alex Cardinale previews the NFL Thanksgiving football games and more. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Don't miss the Thanksgiving Day Bash. Live Thursday, November 24th, 2022, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, right here on YouTube channel, The Legendary Alex Cardinale. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Go out and get those turkeys and tune in to the Thanksgiving Bash. Thursday, November 24th, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, right here on the legendary Alex Cardinale YouTube channel.